welcome to the Garden Shop How to Garden video. In this video I want to show you how to properly load a trimmer line, which is the one we have here. This is the 2mm trimmer line available on the gardenshop.ie, and I just want to show you how to correctly load it into a strimmer or a trimmer or brush cutter that we have in front of us here. We also have trimmers and brush cutters available on the gardenshop.ie. So I'll just show you the general idea. First of all, if you can just zoom in here, you can see that on the bottom of all trimmers, petrol powered trimmers, you can see they have this button at the base. Okay, so that button there is something that actually will allow this trimmer line to be released while you're cutting or trimming, and that will help to extend the trimmer line out without having to take the whole equipment apart. So I'll just go through the exact process of how to load the trimmer line. So the first thing you want to do is just push in these buttons. There's two of them here on the side, and that will release the head. So this is the standard strimmer head that you'll have here. Okay, so this comes out then. At the minute now there's no trimmer line in it, so I'll just take out one here. I also have here some garden scissors also available on the website. So these are the soft scissors available on the gardenshop.ie. So just going to open up the product. So you'll find that a trimmer line is often quite springy, so it can really uncoil, so you want to just hold it in your hand well whenever you're using it. Have a good grip of it. So I'll just take, I'm not going to put the whole lot in, maybe about a 2 meter stretch going onto each side. Okay, so we'll take that much. Just place that back in the bag. So what you need to do then is divide this exactly in half. Okay, so we'll just see how long what we have here is. So we'll have two identical lengths of trimmer line going into the strimmer, and then I'm just going to cut it now that I have the halfway point between it. I will cut it here. Okay. Alright, so now we have in here two exact length trimmer lines, so just divide them out there. Okay. Now, so you need to load them up both at the same time. So the real crucial factor now that we have here is this step here. I don't know if you can zoom in enough to see, but it says on the inside, and you'll have on all of your petrol powered trimmers and brush cutters, a little arrow, and it says wind cord and an arrow pointing. Can you pick that up? Yeah. So that will tell you the arrow points in this direction, which means I have to wind the cord in that direction, and that will allow for a suitable and proper releasing of the cord when the strimmer is in motion. Okay, so on the inside then of the strimmer and the strimmer head, there's a little place where you can place these cords. So I'm just going to put a little bend like this. So you put a little bend on the end of your strimmer line like this. Okay, and this can vary from strimmer to strimmer which way the thing is fed, but so the arrow is telling me to put it this way. So I'm going to place the strimmer line in, and it's gone in like that there. Can you pick that up? Okay, and now the arrow, as I said, is pointing this way. So that's the direction in which I will then wrap the cord. Okay, so I'm just going to do 2 or 3 winds of it here. And now I'll just hold that in place, or in this case I can just lock it into place temporarily. Okay, so that's kind of locked in place temporarily like that. So at the same time that I've fed one in, I want to feed the other one in. So the same idea again, just put that down. I'm just going to bend the strimmer line, bend it over, and then I'm going to do the exact same process of just feeding it in. Okay, so now you'll notice on the inside of the strimmer it has 2 different areas, 2 different sections, one for each strimmer line. Both lines are wound in the same direction. Okay, so I'm just finding it again here. Okay, so now the second strimmer line's gone in. Sometimes actually you can use something just to push it directly into the centre. The scissors working on there. Okay, so now I'll start to wind this strimmer line as well. Again, going in the same direction as the arrow suggests. Okay. Keep winding it all the way around. And then I'll just lock that in place. At this point, if that was to unlock, the whole thing will unspin. So when you're doing something like this, it needs a little bit of a delicate hand to make sure that you're holding the strimmer line properly so that you don't let it go at any point. Just continue to wind this one around. So what we should have here now is two identical length lines, and both being wound in the same direction and in the direction that the arrow has suggested for me. So I have it in there now. And the next thing I have to do then is to feed the strimmer line through the two eyes that are on the cover of the head. So this is the next step. We'll put one here. I'll bring one back to here. Okay. So we have the two of them here now. And then we'll just feed it through. I could probably just drop it over the top actually and pull it through. So we'll do that. You can see what I'm doing here now. I'm just going to feed it through this head and then feed this line through this eye here. And pull it tightly. So now there's nothing that nothing will cause them to unwind now. They're locked into place there, and you can see that one is a bit longer than the other in this case. Ideally, your strimmer line could be what that length there, which is about 10 centimeters long, maybe a little bit more. That's probably the ideal length for a strimmer line to get the best cutting without slowing down the speed of the machine. So that's it, loaded up, and then the last thing to do, and it can vary from machine to machine, is just how to just place it back on again into the exact place, lining the eye up with the spacing for the eye here on both sides. And then lock it into place. So you can see now that strimmer is loaded, but again, the whole key to this is that you have it wound in the right direction, so that when this strimmer is on and it's spinning and spinning and spinning, and it happens that your wire gets slightly cut, all you need to do then is hold down the throttle and press the strimmer against the ground, causing the button to push in. And if you cause the button to push in, the strimmer line will feed out. So if I just pull, I can show you that the strimmer line, you can see it's coming out. You can see what I mean by that. It's getting longer every time I push the string in. So now you can see how long the strimmer line is. Because every time you press this button, it releases the cord on the inside, meaning that the strimmer line gets longer and longer and longer. So now you can see it's very long. So that's the whole idea of this kind of push button here. So when you're using the machine, you press the head down against the ground, and the fact that it's spinning so fast means that the cord just keeps coming out. Okay, so the whole idea there is that you will constantly have a supply of the line coming out, meaning that you don't have to stop the machine every 5 minutes and take it apart and reassemble it just to extend out your little bit of cord. And it all comes down to the fact that you load it in the direction that the arrow says, and you have two separate pieces of cord going in together. So that's the idea. That's how you would load a strimmer line. As I said, in this case we were using the Apollo trimmer line, the 2mm diameter, 20 meter length. It's a roll available on the gardenshop.ie, and we also have trimmers and brush cutters available on the gardenshop.ie.